Well, VTubers, we're here again, aren't we? Rachel still hasn't been to see her ailing father in California, who's in hospital after suffering a stroke/heart attack. I mean, I cannot believe that I'm here again just to call out, well, this bloody woman really, isn't she? She goes around the bleeding world, VTubers, saying that she's classy, she's humanitarian, and she's authentic, and she's this, that and the other. She gets herself up on stages, doesn't she? Giving it all the lemon, flapping those considerably big gums of hers, doesn't she? When it's nothing whatsoever to do with her. I mean, I don't understand how she gets herself up on stage. Well, it's usually because she's got a camera crew following her in it, VTubers, and they just phony it up to make her look like, I don't know, the Virgin Bleeding Mary. And I ain't being funny, I think that all spalted, well, about the same time that she was a bleeding yacht girl, VTubers. I cannot believe that this thing thinks that she's royal just because she's climbed up the greasy pole. Well, she's more slid down the greasy pole, if you hear me, VTubers. If you know what I mean, you know what I'm on about, don't you, ladies? Yes, we know what she's been getting up to and how she's got where she is. Can't even go and see her dad. That girl has got all the class of bleeding roadkill. I have never heard anything like it in my entire life. And do you know what, VTubers? I put all my flags up for the Jubilee. Yes, I blooming well did. And do you know what I've done to my flags? I've took them all bleeding back down again. That is how cross I am. How dare that bloody family? Well, I cannot believe that they are allowing this absolute monster amongst them. And foisting her on the British public as well. I mean, what have we done? Haven't we got enough bloody problems? It's not good enough that you have Jimmy Savile hanging off your bleeding, well, hanging off you like a bleeding dingleberry, old Jimmy Savile, wasn't he? Oh, yes, it's not good enough that we have to put up with all these people and your Lord Mountbatten and your King Cora Children's Home. Oh, no, shh, we've all got to sing Rule Britannia and God Save the Bleeding Queen. Well, no, we haven't. We're sick of it. We're sick of the way you cosset her and you just, we just carry on as if she's completely bleeding normal. She's a bleeding psycho. And if you hadn't shut all the mental units and given the keys to Jimmy Savile, well, maybe we wouldn't have to put up with all this all the bloody time. This woman is a bleeding monster. And now you've invited her over, you're going to drag her up and down the mall, she's going to get herself out on the bleeding balcony. No one gives a shit anymore. We're over it. We've had enough. Yes, you're going to get your loonies down there because they're just happy to have a bleeding day off work, aren't they? You're going to get all that. You're going to get all your people that do it because they don't know on social media and don't know nothing really. But the vast majority of the British public know exactly what they're looking at when they look at Rachel. They know exactly who she is. She's a hard-hearted, callous, nasty, vile little madam, and I don't want to hear nothing about that grandiose narcissist. That's just a fancy, newfangled, modern way of saying a right rotten bitch. And anybody that's been brought up by right rotten bitches, or grandiose narcissists, or histrionic narcissists, will know exactly where I'm coming from. So any VTubers out there, do you feel me? Do you know exactly what I'm on about? Yes, I think you do. I think we're on the same page, aren't we, VTubers? Yes, we bloody well are. And it's not on the way they're always allowed to get away with their vile behaviour, and it is elder abuse. How dare she get up on every bleeding stage? Like I said the other day, you could turn a bleeding box upside down, she'd stand on it and give a bleeding speech. What is she doing up on stage? What life experience has she got, that old girl? I mean, she's 40. I'm not being funny. She looks every day of 48, 49, doesn't she? Let's have it right. And as for him, well, baldy locks, I don't know what he looks. He looks like he's about 50 bleeding, he does. Acts like a bleed. Well, they look old, but they act like they're 15, 14-year-old, don't they? Bloody stupid bloody pair. And that's what happens when you spawn and ruin your children, VTubers. That's exactly what happens. Oh, yes, you can be a rotten bitch and I'm still going to love you. Well, that might work at home, but it don't work out in the real world. And the example you're setting the world, who you truly are, Mrs. Meghan Markle, Sharkle to Markle, well, it's evident, isn't it, really? And here's another thing as well. And I don't care who knows it. Did she or did she not go to some fancy university, what her dad paid for, a private university, where she took some Mickey Mouse course in international relations so she could go around the world being an ambassador of humanitarian, getting her snout in, and then she wants to be a very important person all over the world and got this, that and the bleeding other. Had she actually studied even for a day about the world outside of Hollywood or outside of her bleeding, well, just outside really, If she'd have studied even for a day, she would realise that a good 2/3 of the world actually they absolutely worship old people. Yeah, and the way she treats her dad, she'd probably find that she wouldn't be welcome in most of the Asian countries because they wouldn't want her disruptive influence on their people, would they? Of the way she's a poster girl of absolute cruelty, cold, callous cruelty. And I don't want to hear any of that bullshit about how he abused her bullshit. I've read the Tig. She loved her. She loved her all the time. Daddy had the bleeding shekels. Oh, yes, as soon as she moved on to someone with a few more shekels, dropped Daddy like a bleeding hot brick. Who does that to her own parents? Nobody. Honestly, it makes me so cross for you two viewers. It's put me right off the bleeding Jubilee. I'm sick to death of the whole bloody load of them. Charles and apart from Catherine, obviously. I love Catherine. They ain't done nothing wrong, them two. But the rest of them are a bunch of shitheads. And I've seriously had a bloody enough of them. And I'll tell you another thing. You know when she goes on about all this money, she's got all this money from Harry and blah, blah, blah. Who gave Harry the money? I'll tell you who gave Harry the money. His mum gave Harry the bloody money. His mum had nothing when she married into the royal family. She got that money in a divorce settlement off of your Charles. Where did Charles get the money? Because if you follow my thinking, VTubers, I can't remember him doing a day's bleeding work apart from poncing around in the Navy for a little while. Yeah? So where did he get the money from? Oh, he got the money from the Duchy of Cornwall. Well, the Duchy of Cornwall is a great big blooming stretch of land in Britain what is inhabited by British people what work there and pay taxes to who? His bleeding duchy. So any money he's got has ultimately come off of us, VTubers. And it makes me insane that, well, we're all just bloody sheep to them, aren't we? You can just buy and then the thing is they're going to give her a stage and we've all got to clap her. Fuck right off, she can. Excuse my French on the Sunday VTubers, but that's how I feel.